Okay, so the business pressure is organization responses. So the first one is the business pressure, and we continue with organizational responses. So these are the action companies take to deal with the pressure, such as the business need to change the business models. Of course, you need to use technology to improve operation, building strong partnership, improving customer service, and also innovating. This is the most important thing. If your business needs to survive, you need to innovate. For example, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola use data and AI to predict how much of each drink people will buy in different regions. So Coca-Cola now start to using AI and data to predict how much of each drink people will buy in different regions. Can I have a short video to explain what
Coca-Cola has implemented AI into their industries so that they can predict what soda customers should buy before they buy it. That means when you walk into the K-Way or into the AMC theaters, Coca-Cola knows that you're going to order the lowest price. And they might have placed an order for that syrup months ago. They've also implemented dynamic pricing, which means that there's a lot of people, prices for Coca-Cola might be higher. Coca-Cola has implemented AI into their industries so that they can predict what soda customers are going to buy before they buy it. That means when you walk into the K-Way or into the AMC theaters, Coca-Cola knows that you're going to order the lowest price. And they might have placed an order for that syrup months ago. They've also implemented dynamic pricing, which means that there's a lot of people, prices for Coca-Cola might be higher. Coca-Cola has
So they said that Coca-Cola is trying to implement AI to predict what kind of variant or flavor that usually people would like to buy. For example, if there is a machine that they can predict, a lot of last month, a lot of people buy in the, for example, this is in the movie theater. Mostly the customer buy the large soda, the large bottle soda. So based on the data, the Coca-Cola now try to put a large Sprite or large bottle before the, for example, before there is a movie that pretty much booming, then put it in the movie theater. So because people will buy the Coca-Cola before the movie start, and they usually buy the large bottle. Okay, this is why AI now works on the business by the data, so we can read the data. Oh, usually in the movie theater, people buy the large bottle size. So Coca-Cola try to how do you say it? Supply with a large, mostly with a large bottle. Okay, this is how the Coca-Cola now start to implement AI, so they can read the data. Number two. Number three, computerized support. So technology helps companies monitor situation and makes better decisions, and this include business intelligence tools, decision support system, analytic, and automated alert and report. For example, Amazon uses advanced system to track millions of orders and predict what product people might want to buy next. Their system also automatically adjusts prices based on demand and competition. That's why if you goes to the Amazon, then you can see that we go to the Amazon, there is a section that they say that what must people buy. For example, like they use some of the information. For example, the most famous product, something like this one. So they, based on the data, they know what kind of product the most people buy, and they also would like to offer to you. Maybe you have the same sense.
Clicks and fast deliveries. Let's break down the clicks first. Amazon's recommendations are powered by algorithms, something called collaborative filtering. It sounds technical, but here's the gist. The first is user-based filtering. If you and I both buy the same desk, and later I buy a lamp, we might get recommended that same lamp because Amazon sees us as having similar tastes. The second is item-based filtering. If lots of people who bought that desk also bought the same lamp, Anyone shopping for the desk will start seeing this blank pop-up too. In front of finance, content-based business, you get recommendations for desks that look similar, same color, same style, to what you browsed or bought before. It feels personal, but it's really just patterns. Clever patterns that get you to click that add cart button faster.
Okay, so this is what the Amazon have. They have a technology, or we call it like filtering button. So what this is based on the algorithm. So the collaborative filtering, they will see, the algorithm will see what kind of product, like maybe the same people, a lot of same people buy the same product. So the algorithm may think that, oh, this product like or being purchased by a lot of people. So they also would like to offer to you, maybe you have the same needs or same preference, so you can also buy this kind of product. So this is also used business intelligence using data. So you can read the data based on what kind of product they usually bought by people. Okay. The business world is like a tough game. It's very hard game. So a new challenges, faster competition, higher customer expectation. Okay. The company, like nowadays they use smart technology like Tesla, Coca-Cola, Amazon, McAfee. McAfee is the one that we learned about the vaccine in the first hour, and just show you in the beginning of the class, the video. With this smart technology, this big company can react faster, make better decisions, and stay ahead of the game. So this is one of the major factors why they need to work. So manager, if you later on become a manager of the business, manager of the company, you really need to understand this kind of changing. So managers are people in charge of making sure an organization reaches its goals by using resources like money, people, material, and time. So managers should know how to manage the elements like money, people, material, and time. When those resources, we call it inputs, are used effectively, most likely the company will produce results we call outputs, like products, services, or profits. The better a manager uses these resources, the more successful the organization, and we call it as productivity. So productivity, if someday you heard about productivity, what is productivity? How much output can be resulted from the input. If the input, you input 100% and then you output only 50%, it means there is some problem during the process. So productivity is like how the input of the resources can be successfully managed and turned to be the outputs. Again, the productivity means that how the input or resources being managed and turned successfully into the output. Of course, to achieve this good result, managers will need to perform some tasks or some assignments. First, planning. Of course, as a business intelligence manager, you need to be able to create plan, like setting goals and decide how to reach. Organize, arranging resources and the tasks. Direct or directing, leading or motivating employee. Controlling, checking if everything is on track. So PODC. So it's very common in the management. Planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. These are the 4 key aspects. So you can in the management or how managers need to perform. At the heart of all these tasks or assignment is decision making. So managers constantly face choices, big or small, and must decide which option is best. If you have any question, please take this first. According to the scholars or researchers, Henry, managers wear many hats. They have to work with people. It's very hard to be a manager because controlling people. If someday you have a staff and then more than 20, more than 4, it's very hard because every person has different point of view, have different perspective. So work with people is very hard. That sometimes, if you remember that if I every years I teach a management class. It's like more than 100 students, and I somehow is very stressed because seeing a lot of people is tempting me. So it means that working with a lot of people is pretty hard for everyone. And then share and receive information roles, and make decisions. So this is the main also from another scholar. The managers need to work with people, share and receive information and make decisions. For example, the CEO of Apple, who needs to meet with partners, analyze market trends, decide when to launch a new iPhone. You know, there's the latest new iPhone 17 that just launched this month. And for all these tasks, they need fast, reliable information. Often they refer to computers, mobile devices, and the internet. So as a manager of the Apple, of course, they have worked really hard and then they need to manage everything like analyze market trend, decide when to launch a new product, what kind of features, meet with partners. So if you become manager, that's why the manager's salary somehow is pretty high because you do a lot of things. But the most important is how managers make decisions. Mostly, of course, by experience and intuition. This is kind of like everyone. It's like when you were the first year student, you're pretty much like, okay, this is my first time to be a student, and so I need to figure out everything. Now, when you are in the second year, third year, fourth year, you already know how to handle the school life. Okay. Because you already had experiences. Now, the same thing with your manager, because the manager have a lot of experiences. Somehow they can supposed to can manage pretty well. Learning to trial and error, but today's business not only because of the complexity of the business and very competitive. Experience and intuition not enough. Before maybe it's enough, but now it's not enough. So company managers or leaders need to be careful, have a logical decision making, often perform better than those who rely only on charm or feeling. With that said, good managers follow these several steps to make smart decisions. First, they need to be able to define the problem. So understand what the needs to be fixed or improved. Everything can be improved. So when I worked in a company before, my manager always said that everything can be improved better. So everything. So from the small things. So this is also one of the capability of the manager. So they need to be able to see any opportunity to improve everything. For example, sales are dropping in Asia. What do you need to do? So you need to find anything why, for example, some sales have problem in certain area. Next one, build a model of the problem. Break down the issue and look at the facts. So, for example, analyze sales data, customer feedback, and competitors' action, and find possible solution and evaluate the solution, whether the solution really works well or not. For example, should we launch a cheaper product or improve marketing? Somehow this is kind of a question that I'd say part, because it's like a dilemma. What we need to do is improve the productivity, make a cheaper product, or improve marketing. Number 4, choose the best solution. Pick the most promising option. For example, decide to invest or target online advertisement for that region. So this is also try to one of the character that managers need to have before they make decisions. Abdullah, any question? Continue first before we take a break. So why decision making is very hard today? Why somehow it's very hard to make decision in nowadays? Because actually we have more choices. Like we can say if you go to the Amazon, Amazon here, we have a lot of options, a lot of product, the same product, different sellers, different prices. So this is one of the example that nowadays we have a lot of choices. Even the same product, different sellers, different prices, they have different quality. Because they say that in the Amazon you can see the star or the review, whether like the other, for example, the other sellers maybe they have a 4.4 good rating, and the other is only 4.2 good rating. So you may think like which one I need to choose. Different, maybe the same product, different seller, different review, different price. Now we have a lot of choices, and this make we hard to make decision. It's hard to predict the future because competition, changing customer demands, and work even like political instability. You know, we have a lot of some wars in some certain areas. You know, and this is also hard. Some of last year in the U.S., President Trump, he had a new policy about the tariff. So everyone, every country, African kind of like to comply with the President Trump decision. Okay, so this is kind of like a political or economic instability. And companies must decide quickly, but the wrong decision can be costly. So you have to decide quickly, correctly, because if you do it wrong, maybe it's turned to be costly. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, airline like Singapore Airlines is the best airline in the world, had to quickly decide whether to cut flight, find new routes, or invest in cargo transport, often with limited time and uncertain outcome. So during the pandemic, COVID-19, a lot of airline company, they are collapsed. They really need to work very fast to make the company, survive. Either because no flight, everyone in the lockdown. You remember the COVID-19, we cannot go everywhere. Either when they need to cut the flight, raise the price, find new routes, or invest in cargo transport. Because at the time COVID-19, the e-commerce or product shipping is pretty much famous or pretty much works well. Okay? This is one of the reasons now decision making is very hard. Okay. Let's take a break for 10 minutes and we go back 10 minutes later.